Hey, ready?
Continue.
Sometimes labels fail. Chapter 5. Remy spoke like 5 lines in this entire story, and he managed to steal my entire heart. Same.
I swear to God, every single time, every single fucking time, it's just like Remy. And the first thing I associate with him is, girl, do I not have enough eyes for you? Because I'm just like, that level of sass, that would be him. And I love it so much.
Be prepared for more sass, man.
Yes! I love the sassy man.
Yes, he is. He is fabulous.
Sassy man, best man.
Yes. The boy, Virgil, shivered on the rooftop despite the old coat of patents that they'd wrapped him up in. And Logan did mean wrapped. He looked like a toddler in it because of its size. How did Logan ever think he was an adult? He was tiny. Too small, in fact, for 15. He fidgeted nervously as they waited, eyes casing the area as though, despite their reassurances and the irrationality of the thought, he still thought this was going to be some cruel trick that would end in pain. Shadows shifted near his feet, barely noticeable unless you knew to look. One curled up around his ankle. A self-comfort habit? Hey, you seem cold, kiddo. Here, Patton said, opening his arms. Virgil eyed him for a moment before shifting forward to let Patton hug him. He was oddly trusting for someone with his history, if you could call it a history with how recent it was. He was 15, and only just with the vulnerability of childhood not quite burned away. It was enough for Patton to wiggle his way through his defenses, as Patton was known to do. He also seemed comfortable around Logan, which was a strange experience, as people usually shied away from him in the beginning. He often terrified his students for at least the first month of classes, and he had a resting "I'll cut you, bitch" face, according to Remy.
Yes! Just that I'll shank a bitch.
Patton had been a rare and noticeable exception to that rule, though to be fair, he'd been operating on a rather severe sleep deficit upon their first meeting. We should read their first meeting at a point.
Yes.
It's very cute. Coffee shop meet cute. Of course, it was not as though he and Virgil were only just meeting for the first time today, even if he'd only learned his name less than 3 hours ago, and the boy still did not know his own. They had managed to build a certain level of rapport over the last year. Logan had been around at what was likely some of his most vulnerable moments, beginning with the horror in his school, and ending with him bleeding on the pavement. He'd formed some sort of attachment bond to Logan, or as Logan put it when they'd had a moment alone this morning, "You're the closest thing to a safe adult he's had in the past year. Just give him affection. Please stop panicking about this." With the mental reminder, Logan reached over to give him a soft pat on the head, and the shivers, already lessened in Patton's arms, stopped altogether. Shadows shifted and twined around Logan's ankles with not quite solid pressure, like a steady stream of cool air curling around him. Fascinating. Logan could not help but feel fondness curl in his chest when Patton smiled at him, wrapped around the child. He hadn't bothered to even try to argue when Patton had informed him that they'd be keeping the kid. After some legal hoop jumping, of course. He had figured, after all. Logan didn't have any objections anyway, though he predicted he'd be a complete nightmare eventually when he finally felt safer enough around him. Logan knew enough to anticipate behavioral issues in the future, testing boundaries, or simply not having a frame of reference for appropriate behavior. It would be a headache, surely, but Logan did not think he'd find it in himself to regret it. "Sup, girls? Want to tell me why you summoned me this rooftop at ass crack o'clock in the morning?" a voice asked.
Yes! While you were reading it, I could hear Remy saying it. I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
That's proof to the author's goodness at writing Remy because I did not do a very good Remy voice.
I'm just like, I can fucking hear him say that. Tone of voice and all.
Yay.
Although, ass crack o'clock in the morning is now my new definition for 4 a.m.
I do like that phrase. Well,
Normally
actually, I
it's
think
the
that
ass
that's the
crack of
first.
dawn, but
Yeah, I've heard Ass Crack of Dawn before. I haven't heard this particular one. Ass Crack o'clock in the morning. It's 10:30 a.m., Logan pointed out, turning toward the man who'd just come through the rooftop door. He noticed Virgil pull away from Patton quickly. Yeah, and I worked a shift until 7 a.m., Remy grumbled, taking a sip from his coffee cup.
oh yeah, dude, you need that to live.
He's.
Just like me with monsters.
Hmm. Thanks for coming, Remy. I know you're probably very tired, Patton said. Remy waved his hand through the air dismissively. Yeah, just add it to your coffee tab. Or create a coffee tab, since I don't know who you are, stranger behind the mask.
Oh, Remy, I love you.
Logan rolled his eyes. You know why you're here? Yeah, we Gucci. God, Remy was even more intolerable when tired, which was basically all the time. Yet, Logan beckoned Virgil over to himself. He took a cautious step forward, and Logan put a hand on his shoulder. This is Virgil, Logan said. Virgil, this is Remy. He's a nurse. Hi, Virgil said softly. There was a moment's pause where Remy shifted gears. Remy was annoying at best most of the time, but he was a good man and perceptive. Annoyingly perceptive often, but he'd proven himself many times over. Hey, baby, Remy said, guessing you're my newest patient. Yeah, he replied, curling his shoulders up and looking away. No need to be nervous, kid. I'll buy you a coffee on the way. I need one anyway, and we'll have a nice chat about whatever kids like these days. Like what? The ninja tortoises?
How old is Remy in this case if the others are like in their 50s?
I don't know.
I want to peg him like maybe 30s, late 30s maybe, but that's what I wanted to peg Logan and Patton as. So I honestly have no clue.
I don't know. Virgil gave him a look, suddenly too taken over by the oh god, this old person doesn't know what he's talking about distress to be any other kind of distressed. Yeah, Remy said, didn't think that was it. You'll have to update me on what kids are into now while we go to the hospital. Then we'll have our fun, quick little photo shoot, and I'll even give you a sucker at the end.
Oh god, Remy, you better give him a entire candy.
Yes.
I wanted to say candy store, but I'm just like, Virgil hopped up on that much sugar.
It's probably not great. Yeah. Virgil bit his lip, and Patton reached over to rub his back. It's alright, kiddo. Remy's good. Annoying, Logan couldn't help but contribute, but good. Yeah, Mr. Stick in the Mud, Remy said. Virgil smiled a bit, the traitor. And Remy winked at him and offered a hand. Come on, babe. Patton gave him a light push, and he walked forward to Remy. Remy put a careful arm around his shoulder. He has a fresh gunshot wound to his abdomen, Logan said. I expect it won't make it into the photos. A gunshot wound, huh? Remy said, eyes locking with Logan's for a brief moment before scanning his new charge up and down with perceptive eyes. I see. Then he shot Logan an annoying half smile. Don't worry, babes. I stitch, I don't snitch. Remy, Logan said firmly. Remy's face smoothed out. I know you don't know me, he said. It isn't like we have Tuesday coffee dates at least twice a month or anything, but you know you can trust me.
That's Sam.
Yes. Logan pursed his lips, but nodded. All right, kid, time to go. The coffee in the hospital is not the best, but they have this thing called the Remy Special I'm gonna get you. It's 3 pumps of dark chocolate, 2 of white chocolate, and 5 of caramel. 6 of special shots blended with ice and topped with double whipped cream and milk chocolate sauce. You won't need to sleep for days.
It's sad that I kind of want to try that.
Fair. Don't you dare give him that, Patton warned, his voice dark enough to make even Logan shudder. Or what? Remy asked, unconcerned. It's not like you're my boss. Patton gave him a very unimpressed look, and Virgil giggled a bit, despite not knowing what the joke was. Remy gave him a soft smile and hugged him toward the door. Time to go, baby. Virgil looked back at them briefly. Thanks, he said quietly, before he let himself be led into the stairwell. Logan turned to Patton with an intentionally blank expression. This is the first and last time we are letting Remy babysit.
Oh, oh, you're embracing the parent role already, Logan.
Yes.